Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Cycle 5858. I am Amish Cycle. Foreign news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please let's go to the headlines.
ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast, now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted, now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, we are tracking the historic American mission to the moon.
Booster ignition and liftoff.
Just moments ago, the giant Artemis II rocket, 322 feet high, blasting off from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida, taking 4 astronauts on a 10-day mission to the moon and back. The first such journey in more than 50 years, and the first giant step in a return to the moon's surface. On board, a historic crew, the first African-American, first woman, and first Canadian to head to the moon. What they did in the hours before the launch, playing cards for luck, leaving through the same doors as the Apollo astronauts generations ago, meeting with their families and saying their thank yous to the ground team. Gio Benitez is there. President Trump addresses the nation tonight on the war with Iran, 5 weeks after the president ordered an all-out assault on Iran. His first time addressing the American people on the war, with oil prices soaring as polling shows the majority of Americans disapprove of the war amid mixed messages from the administration on the conflict. Mary Bruce reports from the White House. Tonight, massive new strikes by the U.S. on Iran, American bombers hitting targets in Isfahan, and with thousands of Marines and elite American forces flowing into the region, what we're learning about possible ground operations inside Iran. Also tonight, the urgent search for a kidnapped American journalist, the chilling video of her getting shoved into a car in Baghdad, what we're learning about her abductors tonight. Matt Rivers reports from the region. The Supreme Court hears arguments on birthright citizenship, a right that was first guaranteed in the 14th Amendment. President Trump there in the court, a first for an American president, with the justices skeptical of the government's arguments. A New York man accused of terrorizing his neighborhood for weeks, allegedly caught on camera throwing homemade pipe bombs. Police say he had more than 24 bombs. Eric Katursky is standing by. The defense begins in the case against a Hawaiian doctor accused of trying to kill his wife, what his son told the jury his father told him. Former Fleetwood Mac superstar Lindsey Buckingham reportedly attacked in Los Angeles. Accused CEO killer Luigi Mangione is back in court, what his lawyers asked a federal judge to do. And a major pharmaceutical company shrinks the price on a popular type of weight loss drugs.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World.
Breaking news this Wednesday night, we finally have liftoff. The historic launch of a lunar mission, decades in the making, and the excitement for the Canadian on board. The latest threats and mixed messages from the U.S. president ahead of his address to the nation, plus Israel's plan to take full control of southern Lebanon, where that leaves hundreds of thousands of residents. Some Canadian a raise where the minimum wage is rising. And doggone good reunion. A lost pup, her injured owner, and the delicate rescue operation in a remote location.
Global National with Donna Friesen.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Artemis II and the...
And here's the President of the United States.
Thank you very much. My fellow Americans, good evening. Let me begin by congratulating the team at NASA and our brave astronauts on the successful launch of Artemis II. It was quite something. It will be traveling further than any manned rocket has ever flown and will very substantially pass the moon, go around it, and come back home from a distance that has never been done before. It's amazing. They are on the way, and God bless them. These are brave people. We want to God bless those 4 unbelievable astronauts. As we speak this evening, it's been just 1 month since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury. targeting the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, Iran. In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like few people have ever seen before. Tonight, Iran's Navy is gone. Their Air Force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them, terrorist regime they led, are now dead. Their command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces. Very few of them left.
Africa News. The news.
A man beaten up in the middle of the street by a mob. Footage shared on social media showed mob violence taking place in the north-central Nigerian city of Jos on Wednesday. A reporter for the news agency AFP said that at least 2 people died during the outbreak of violence on Wednesday. The chaos in the city comes just days after a deadly gunman attack. Unidentified attackers killed around 30 people in a bar over the weekend. The massacre led to accusations on social media that it had targeted Christians on Palm Sunday, although no proof was provided for these claims. While Christians were majoritarily thought to be among the victims, 4 Muslims were also killed, according to a local group. Jos is home to a mixed population of Christians and Muslims. Although largely peaceful, the city has experienced some ethnic and religious tensions in the past.
Iran isn't backing down in the war against the United States and Israel. A top Iranian official has made it clear no deal will be accepted unless Tehran's core conditions are fully met.
لن نقبل إلا أن يكون حلاً دبلوماسياً.
We will only accept a balanced and fair diplomatic solution based on a win-win principle between Iran and the United States. If these conditions are accepted, there must be a genuine agreement that achieves balance and parity between the two sides.
أو متوازن متعادل.
Iran has laid out 5 conditions to end the war, including a complete stop to US and Israeli aggression and assassinations.
نحن قلنا بأنه أي موقع تجد فيها عناصر.
Any location where there are military elements belonging to the United States or the Israeli entity will be within the target range of the Islamic Republic of Iran. But I would like to say in this regard that it is necessary for us to be patient and for this war to completely end. And joint committees will be formed between Iran and these countries to study this issue and to ascertain the truth and reality of this crisis that we have seen.
والواقعية في هذه الأزمة التي رأينا.
Iran says there are no direct talks with the US, just messages passed through intermediaries. At the same time, the US has sent over a 15-point plan to try to end the war, including limits on Iran's nuclear and missile programs.
The Senegalese TikToker Kabilam has been appointed the ambassador to the upcoming Youth Olympics set to be staged in Dakar this year. According to the organizers, Kabi will participate in the event's highlights, notably the torch relay, which will arrive in Dakar on September 12th. The content creator, with more than 160 million followers on TikTok, is expected to play an active role in promoting the game, particularly among the youth audience. Lam will be involved in key moments of the event, such as the torch tour across Senegal, and will also help strengthen the social and inclusive impact of Dakar 2026. The games are scheduled to run from 31st October to 13th November this year and will welcome approximately 2,700 athletes aged 17.
This is Asia Now.
It's 11 a.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 8:30 in New Delhi, and 10 o'clock in Jakarta. Good morning. I'm Rani Samtani. At this hour, President Donald Trump says U.S. military objectives in Iran are nearing completion, vowing to hit Tehran hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. He called the war an investment for future generations.
The country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat. They were the bully of the Middle East, but they're the bully no longer.
One person has been killed after a 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck eastern Indonesia, triggering brief tsunami warnings across the region. Emergency crews have rushed to affected areas, urging residents to stay away from the coast. And
4, 3, 2.
Artemis 2 blasts off into space for the first manned voyage around the moon since 1972, launching a new era of lunar exploration.
Question. Is our duty to keep asking?
Today, U.S. President Donald Trump addresses the people of the United States, insisting he'll wind up the war in Iran within weeks.
Regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' deaths. They're all dead.
The Prime Minister announces a $1 billion economic resilience program while reiterating the government's efforts to boost the fuel supply and lower petrol prices. The PM also announces a crackdown on daytime gambling ads.
Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
And millions watch NASA's Artemis 2 mission lift off, a historic 10-day journey to the moon. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Ros Childs. The United States President has used a historic address to the nation to acknowledge the economic cost of his war in Iran for everyday Americans. Petrol prices have shot up globally after Iran attacked ships in the Strait of Hormuz, a critical route for oil trade in the region.
Good morning, you're watching Sky News. NASA has successfully launched its long-awaited Artemis 2 mission to the moon. 4 astronauts are now in space on the furthest journey from Earth humans have ever attempted. It's the first crewed mission to fly to the moon since Apollo 17 in 1972. Here's the moment the journey began.
10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch. Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of integrity on the Artemis 2 mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high. AMT high.
On time passing 30 seconds into the minutes. Integrity passes the ultimate decom. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance on the intentions. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour.
Let's take you back to earlier in the launch process. The crew began their journey to the launch pad by greeting their families As they left the Neil Armstrong Operations and Checkout Building in Florida, the astronauts had been in quarantine for the last fortnight there to prevent them from getting ill. Now, there was visible excitement from the crew and those present as they said their goodbyes. The crew then entered their spaceship, the Orion, the only part designed to return to Earth.
This is EW News. These are our top stories. NASA's Artemis 2 mission lifted off from Florida on Wednesday, carrying 4 astronauts into space on the first manned trip toward the moon in more than 50 years. The mission will not land on the lunar surface, but instead loop around the moon and return to Earth in 10 days. The mission is a test flight ahead of a planned moon landing in 2 years' time. U.S. President Donald Trump claimed on social media that Iran's, quote, new regime president has asked for a ceasefire. The Iranian Foreign Ministry has described Trump's claims as false and baseless. Beyond that, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian has been in office since July of 2024. He has said in the past that a ceasefire is possible, but must include a guarantee that hostilities will not return. President Donald Trump has told a UK newspaper he is strongly considering pulling the United States out of NATO after allies did not back US military action against Iran. Trump was asked by the Daily Telegraph if he would reconsider the US's membership of NATO and said it's, quote, beyond reconsideration, adding, according to the newspaper, I have never been swayed by NATO.
My name is Nozibele Kamganamaya.
Welcome back to Night Watch. Here on France 24, our main stories for you this hour. Donald Trump addresses the nation in his first primetime speech from the White House since the beginning of the war with Iran. The president said U.S. operations were nearing completion and said Iran's Navy and Air Force is in ruins, its leadership decimated. He told Americans that oil prices will come down. As the Middle East conflict continues into a 34th day, Israel's military says it's killed Hezbollah's commander in the south of the country. The Iran-backed group confirmed the death of Haj Youssef Ismail Hashem, one of the highest-ranking officials killed so far. At least 7 more people were also killed in strikes on Beirut. And history in the making. Humans head back to the moon for the first time in over 50 years. Artemis 2 blasts off from Cape Canaveral in Florida with 4 crew members on board. An ambitious observation mission that it's hoped will pave the way for a new era of deep space exploration.
Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I hope you will come again. Have a good life. Bye-bye.